The Community Reinvestment Act, commonly referred to as CRA, was enacted in 1977 and requires the federal banking regulators to assess each depository institution's record of helping meet the credit needs of the local communities it is chartered to serve, particularly the low and moderate income neighborhoods in those communities. Banks of all sizes play an important role in ensuring fair and equal access to credit throughout the country. The CRA regulations provide for several evaluation methods that are designed to evaluate performance based on a bank's asset size and business strategy. These different examination methods allow a more accurate perspective on a bank's CRA activities given their unique capacity and capabilities. For example, a small bank in a small town would be evaluated differently than a large bank based in a big city with a multi-state network of offices. In this video, we are going to talk about how small banks and intermediate small banks are examined under the CRA. Small banks are subject to a streamlined evaluation focused on lending performance. Intermediate small banks are evaluated using the same lending evaluation as small banks in addition to a community development test annually. As of January 1st, 2016, small banks are those with assets less than $304 million. Intermediate small banks are those with assets between $304 million and $1.2 billion. Adjustments to the asset thresholds based on changes to the Consumer Price Index are calculated and published by the agencies at the end of each year.
The streamlined evaluation for small banks has 5 performance criteria: loan-to-deposit ratio, lending in assessment area, lending to borrowers of different incomes and businesses of different sizes, geographic distribution of loans, and responses to consumer complaints. First, examiners look to see what the bank's loan-to-deposit ratio has been during the examination period. The loan-to-deposit ratio is calculated by averaging its total loans and deposits since its last examination based on its quarterly financial reports. Examiners make a judgment about the adequacy of the loan-to-deposit ratio by considering a variety of performance context factors. For instance, a less than reasonable loan-to-deposit ratio could indicate that the bank is not adequately reinvesting its deposits, but after considering demographic and economic factors, the bank's loan products and its business strategy and capacity, it may be that the ratio reflects low loan demand for the bank's products. Second, examiners evaluate the bank's lending within its assessment area. To do this, examiners compare the percentage of the bank's loans made within the area designated around its main office, branches, and any deposit-taking ATMs compared to the percentage of loans made outside that area. A high level of lending within a bank's assessment area is a good sign that it is investing in its community. Third, examiners analyze the bank's lending to determine whether it's lending to borrowers of different incomes and businesses of different sizes. To do this, the examiner looks at the bank's loan records and the demographic characteristics of its assessment area. A bank that has a high level of loans to low and moderate income individuals and small businesses relative to the demographic characteristics of its assessment area may be considered more favorably than a bank that focuses only on high-income individuals and large businesses in the same assessment area. Fourth, examiners analyze the bank's distribution of loans in low, moderate, middle, and high-income census tracts within its assessment area. Fifth, and finally, examiners review any complaints that have been made related to its CRA record and evaluate the bank's response to those complaints. Even though the streamlined examination method is focused on a small bank's lending performance, at the bank's direction, examiners will also evaluate its investments and services in order to help them achieve a higher CRA rating.
Now let's turn to the CRA evaluation of intermediate small banks. Intermediate small banks are evaluated under the same performance criteria as small banks with addition of community development test. The community development test evaluates the number and dollar amount of the bank's community development loans, qualified investments, and community development services. In addition, intermediate small banks have the option to include community development loans, qualified investments, and community development services provided by affiliates if they are not claimed by any other institution, and community development lending by consortia or third parties.
We hope that this video has enhanced your understanding of how small and intermediate small banks are examined under the CRA. To learn more, visit fedcommunities.org. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to us. We're always listening.